He's the man, he's the myth, he's the legend, he's the scientist with all the answers and all the questions. It's time for another episode of Alex's Science Corner.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. No, please. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry, the hog calling contest is in the next hall. Good morning, all.
Alex, what's going on in the wide, wide world of science, my friend?
All right, story number 1 is about tardigrades. Tardigrades, I know you guys got that blank look on your face right now.
Tardigrades.
Tardigrades.
Grades.
They are little tiny creatures.
Looks like a bug.
It's kind of a bug.
Looks like shrimp.
It's not exactly a shrimp, but what it is, it's a very tiny creature. And this is for the guys in
Doesn't
the
look
studio.
edible, Darnell.
That's not going to stop Darnell. One of the things about tardigrades is they are very survivable. They can go 10 years of being dehydrated in the desert. They've been up in space and vacuum and come back alive.
So like sea monkeys.
Yes, kind of like sea monkeys. They've been in through various types of more acidic liquids, high temperature, low temperature. They've been frozen. And again, one of the big things that's happened is they can survive for 10 years being completely desiccated.
Are they microscopic or are they larger than that? I mean, because that picture is pretty big.
This picture that Bobby is seeing is 250 times actual size. So they're really, really tiny. Very, very tiny.
That's what she said.
Okay. So anyway, didn't need to know that much of your personal life there, Darnell. So anyway.
Bobby, settle down.
Breathe, Bobby. Breathe. So researchers have figured out how it's able to survive that long without water. And cells need water because there's a lot of biochemistry that happens in the cells. And for the cells to be able to do what they do, they need the water so the different chemicals and ions and the proteins in the cell can move around and do what they need to do. Well, the tardigrades have a particular protein in there called IDP. And this protein is different than other proteins in the cell, whereas other proteins are these fixed structures. The IPD is a very springy, non-structured protein, and it's more of a sugar, actually. And so what it does is it starts to fill up the cell. As the water starts leaving the cell, the tardigrade starts to create this particular sugar or protein and fill up the cell so that it fills up the space, preventing the other molecules in the cell from degrading. Now, some people have referred to it as a glass-like structure, so it becomes like a glass bead of a cell where all these different molecules are now held in suspension inside this glass. And Bob, you're laughing about something. You can't breathe. It's like your tears are rolling down your eyes. I have no idea why, because I could understand Darnell would have been something disgusting. But
Alex, you're ruining your own bed.
I can't help it. I mean, I'm looking at Bobby's face, and her face is just...
Should I leave?
No, not at all.
Now, one of the main things that they found is they've taken this particular protein sugar into other items like yeast, and they found that if they add this sugar to yeast, the yeast developed this property to be able to survive dehydration. And one of the reasons that they're really happy about that is because this will allow them to make medications that do not have to be refrigerated. You know, there's a lot of medications out there that you have to keep in the fridge so that they can last a little bit longer. And when you're talking about third world nations that don't have easy refrigeration available, it's really expensive to get medications out into those areas. So what they're hoping to do is get this thing set up so that they can add these proteins into these medications. The medications then do not have to be refrigerated, and they're able to transport the medications to the places that they're needed. Yes?
So, that's That's why medicine needs to be refrigerated, because it
breaks
dehydrates?
down. It's not in this particular case. It's not that it dehydrates, but the cell breaks down, or the molecules break down, and this particular protein structure is able to hold the molecules together longer, and so they're not degrading.
Oh, I actually
Cold
learned something.
Well, after
was
weeks
actually
of this,
serious.
finally, I think I've at least partially accomplished my mission. After months of doing this, Darnell's finally learned something.
And you've silenced them.
I think I'll go on to the next story simply because this is my opportunity to do so. So, Enceladus, it's the moon of Saturn that they know there's liquid water under the surface. And it's the other place, other than one of the moons of Jupiter, that we suspect may have the possibility of life underneath the ice. There's a thick layer of ice over the surface of this, but we know there's liquid water underneath because several years ago, the Cassini probe saw geysers coming off the bottom, and in that geyser was water and organic molecules. So there's organics and liquid water down there. Well, some of the researchers doing a recent flyby of the Cassini probe in its last little bits before it before it crashes into Jupiter, they ran the probe over the south pole of Enceladus, and they found it's a lot warmer over the south pole than they thought it was, which means there's a lot less ice under the south pole of Enceladus. So there's more liquid water than they thought. And so what they really want to do is now get together a probe to send it to Enceladus. And now that they've got less ice.
Can you repeat again? Enceladus is a moon of
Saturn.
Saturn. Okay.
Saturn. Yeah, so. Mm-hmm.
Nah. I was going to say it's not a moon of Uranus.
You're worried about the Klingons, maybe?
Settle down, class.
So the good news is that there's a lot better chance of being able to get probes into that area.
You know, I just want to say something.
I know you wanted to say something about probing moons of Uranus.
Wow. No, I am highly disappointed because I sat there all week and read about this anomaly that's under the ice caps of Antarctica. I'm like, yes, he's going to be he has to be talked about this because this is new, so I'm going to have something to say. I'm actually going to act like I know what he's talking about. And it's nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do that one too.
Well, it was water under an ice cap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not on our planet. That's all. Does this mean it can sustain life? Can I speak?
Not yet. We don't know. And that's one of the things about the fact that it's got thinner ice. We got a better chance of figuring that out.
Okay.
Or it'll be easier to figure out than we thought it was. So.
And how many light years would it take to get there?
It's not light years away.
Oh, it's not light years.
It's not. It's Jupiter. It's Saturn. It does take a few years.
It does. Yeah. Okay. So how many years would it take to get there?
I think about. I'd have to double check, but I think between 3 to 5 years to get a probe there.
Okay. And does the moon rotate as well, or is it the same side facing Jupiter the whole time?
This particular moon, I believe, rotates around. It has so it has a day around Jupiter.
So maybe we can send Darnell there.
Okay, I think it's about time to wrap this up.
Yeah.
All right, final thoughts, final questions.
No,
you can always.
I'm just disappointed that I read all the stuff.
Well, if you want to share it, I'd like to, because I wasn't able to get a chance to see that, actually.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
So if you have any questions about this story or any other science-related stories, you can call Alex right now at 203
837
99.
2-4.